We all know decisions that are made here in Washington, D.C. can have a direct impact on your cattle operation. And joining me now to talk about some of the top issues of the moment for cattlemen and women is U.S. Representative GT Thompson from Pennsylvania. Congressman, thank you for joining us today.
No, my pleasure. Pleasure and honor to be with you.
Let's talk about the Farm Bill. You are a ranking member of the House Agricultural Committee, and obviously discussions are already beginning on the 2023 Farm Bill. What can you tell us about some of the provisions that may be interesting to our beef cattle producers?
Yeah, well, we're finally getting started, but it feels like we're almost 2 years behind. It's really important to do oversight on the 2018 Farm Bill. We had some pretty good provisions that we put into that Farm Bill. But at the same time, we've had 3 hearings so far. You know, preparing for the 2018 Farm Bill, we had over 130. Wow. And so it's quite a difference. Now, hopefully we'll pick up a little speed here, right? I mean, I have a sense of urgency as we prepare for a Farm Bill that expires, September 30th, 2023, next year. And so we need to look at all the titles. And as it comes to obviously the livestock industry and cattle, we have issues related to risk management, and the livestock portion has been a significant portion of that now. Yeah. It was down around 500 million previously, and now it's measured in the billions. And so looking at, and we need to hear from the cattlemen and cattlewomen that are out there of what's working, what's not working. That's how we prepare for the Farm Bill. I've been, in addition to doing the hearings here, I know I've been taking my opportunities to travel around the country, meet with, get out to feedlots in different places, processing plants, and all the everything in the livestock industry to be able to find out firsthand, what the current status is. Conservation programs are a part of that, but risk management, disaster relief, because the issues that we have, there's no industry more subject to weather than agriculture. And, we had a lot of cattlemen that were struggling to find feed with drought conditions.
And that drought continues, as you're well aware. So the timeliness of this couldn't be more important. Let's talk about climate provisions. We hear a lot about inclusion of various climate provisions in the Farm Bill, and I'm curious, what's your take on the role of voluntary conservation programs and ensuring that producers have the option of participating or not participating in those voluntary programs?
Right. Well, voluntary-led conservation has been a godsend. It has done so much. And the conservation titles that help with that. I think with what we do in the Farm Bill under the conservation title has been, really has led our American farmers and ranchers and foresters to be not climate criminals, but climate heroes.
Amen.
And that's a story we got to tell. We have to do a better job of putting the word out on that. This push to make climate the topic of a Farm Bill and create a Farm Bill title, it's just inappropriate, because today, around the world, there's no better champion, no better hero for a healthier environment and a healthier economy than the American farmer, rancher, and forester. Those livestock are stimulating that soil, and quite frankly, it's causing better root growth, and it's helping to sequester greenhouse gases. And when you take it all together as agriculture, we're actually sequestering, on the average, they say 6.1 gigatons a year of greenhouse gases. And the best part of that is we manufacture that into topsoil. Yes. And at the end of the day, how big is a gigaton? Well, I'm not quite sure, but if you put it in perspective, at the end of the day, the research shows that we sequester 10.1% more than what we emit on those agriculture lands. There's no greater force for good for a healthier environment and battling climate change if you're worried about greenhouse gases. And, our American cattlemen have a lot to do with that.
Can't tell you how refreshing it is to hear a leader like you be so informed on that topic. Let's talk technology for a minute. You had a big role in securing the rural broadband access, and critically important to so many rural communities all across the country. Tell us more.
No, it really is for ranching. For all kinds of farming. I was very proud of the work that the House Agriculture Committee did. Now, we started as House Republicans. with my leadership, we introduced a broadband bill that was significant. It would have, it really would have filled the digital divide. It would have made sure that we had sufficient broadband with sufficient wavelength to meet our needs, which is good for rural communities, but quite frankly, it's good for those ranchers and farmers. And what we did with that, though, we did it in a true agriculture committee way. Reached out to Chairman Scott, and we got together and we improved upon the bill.
Wow.
We put forth significant money, somewhere around $36 billion, which would go a long ways of bridging digital divide. We put an innovation component to it, so they got that help maybe get that last 2% of the really hard to reach places.
Yes.
We actually created a circuit rider program for broadband so that we had a resource for local communities to be able to figure out where the resources are and determine what their needs are. And at the end of the day, we passed it unanimously out of the House, out of the committee. 100%. Every Democrat, every Republican was proud to work hand in hand with Chairman Scott on that. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to get Mrs. Pelosi to put it on the floor for a vote, and which is sad, because this is a bill, because we know that American agriculture, including ranching, is science, technology, and innovation. And we have to have that, we have to bridge that digital divide, right? With all the things we can do to get us efficiency, just accessing markets around the world from your ranch. That's the beauty of today's technology.
Absolutely critical. And it's so, again, reassuring to see some of that bipartisan efforts actually work at times here on Capitol Hill.
More times than not in the Agriculture Committee.
Let's talk about a controversial topic, which is cattle markets. It's been a sensitive one for some time. What are the things that Congress and the Agriculture Committee is doing in order to return more leverage back to the cattle producers?
Well, obviously we're working with the producers. That's important. We need the cattle producers' voice at the table, and that's part of what I call my rural America barnstorming tour. That's part of that, bringing their voices back, and having those conversations and finding out what. I've always believed that there's no one knows the best solutions probably than the people that are dealing with the problems every day. And that's why bringing the voices of the producers, the cattle producers to the table are so important. And so we're obviously, trying to do that as we look forward. We've done some things. Another bill that was completely unanimous, but it was kind of came out of the industry, was the cattle market contract legislation. Dusty Johnson, South Dakota, did a great job of leading that for us, and we were able, that passed unanimously out of the House Agriculture Committee, and so real proud of those efforts. Part of what we're doing is trying to promote on the processing side.
Yes.
We just the limitations, of 4 large processors, that just doesn't work, right? And so we need greater competition. Competition is a good thing. And so one of the things that we've looked at is, and we're trying to, I'm trying to look at, and I know Chairman Scott's interested in, is not just for processors, but producers. What conditions can we create to help small grow to medium grow to large? And so that we really insulate ourselves within the cattle market, both on the processing side and certainly on the production side. And that's a model we're trying to use across all of agriculture right now.
Tough issues, but so reassuring to have folks like you who are really serious about understanding the needs of cattle producers all over the country. Thanks for coming to the show.
No, my pleasure. Thank you very much.